Treaty of Versailles, signed on June 28, 1919, was one of the most important treaties in history, marking the end of World War I and the beginning of a new era in international relations. The treaty was signed by the victorious Allied powers, including Britain, France, Italy, and the United States, and Germany, the defeated Central Power, which was forced to accept the treaty's harsh terms. The treaty is one of the most controversial in history, with many historians arguing that it was too harsh on Germany, leading to resentment and fueling the rise of Nazi Germany. In this video, we will explore the story of the Treaty of Versailles, its provisions, and its impact on the world. Chapter 1: The context of the treaty. To understand the Treaty of Versailles, we must first understand the context in which it was signed. World War I had been one of the deadliest conflicts in human history, with millions of soldiers and civilians losing their lives in the fighting. The war had started in 1914 and had lasted for 4 long years, with the Allied powers eventually emerging victorious over the Central Powers, led by Germany. The war had left Europe in ruins, with entire cities and towns destroyed and economies in shambles. In addition to the human cost, the war had also left behind a legacy of bitterness and resentment, with many people blaming Germany for the war's outbreak and the atrocities committed during the conflict. As the war drew to a close, the Allied powers began to discuss the terms of a peace treaty that would end the conflict and ensure that Germany would never be able to start another war. The Treaty of Versailles was the result of these discussions, and it was signed on June 28, 1919, in the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles, near Paris. Chapter 2: The provisions of the treaty. The Treaty of Versailles was a lengthy document that contained numerous provisions which were designed to punish Germany and ensure that it would not be able to start another war. Some of the key provisions of the treaty included: 1. Territorial losses. Germany was forced to give up significant amounts of territory, including Alsace-Lorraine, which it had taken from France in the Franco-Prussian War of 1870–71. 2. The treaty also transferred control of the Saar coal mines to France and gave Poland access to the sea by granting it control over the city of Danzig. 3. Military restrictions. Germany was also severely restricted in terms of its military capabilities. The treaty limited Germany's army to just 100,000 men and banned it from having an air force or a navy. 4. The country was also prohibited from manufacturing weapons or munitions and was only allowed to have a small number of forts along its border. 5. War guilt. The treaty placed full blame for the war on Germany and its allies, forcing Germany to accept responsibility for the conflict and pay reparations to the Allied powers. 6. Reparations. Germany was required to pay reparations to the Allied powers to compensate for the damage caused by the war. 7. The total amount of reparations was set at 132 billion gold marks, a sum that Germany would be unable to pay. Chapter 3. The impact of the treaty. The Treaty of Versailles had a significant impact on Germany and the rest of the world. In Germany, the treaty was seen as a national humiliation, and many people felt that it was unfair and unjust. The country's economy was in ruins, and the harsh terms of the treaty made it almost impossible for Germany to recover. The country was forced to make huge reparations payments, which ultimately led to World War II.